Alaska King Salmon low return run and a combination of sport and commercial fishing and the change of ocean conditions are affecting our Alaska King Salmon runs. Any changes made will have an impact on our economy. However, through tough regulation, the future return runs of Alaska King Salmon will be higher. I'm Joshua O'Brien. I'm from Alaska and I fish to put food on my table for my family like many other families here in Alaska. With inflation going up at the store, it is now even more cost effective to go out and fish. The future of Alaska King salmon is not looking good. Alaska King salmon low return run. Salmon run is the fish migration of salmon from the open ocean to fresh water where they were hatched to spawn since 2010. King salmon return runs has been on a downward cycle. Data from Alaska Department of Fish and Game, the total Kenai King salmon late run was 22,133 in 2017. And the 2020 season, the cumulative King late run total was 11,499, down approximately 48% in 3 years from Botella 2021. To increase the run, the Alaska Department of Fish and Game will do two things. One, they will dictate the escapement goal so more fish get through before and during king salmon fishing begins. Two, Alaska Department of Fish and Game will create an emergency order. Emergency order is used to open and close, change the season, open and close every day, and decrease bag limits per person and add restrictions. Emergency orders have the same force and effect as regulations of the Board of Game of statutes enacted by the legislature and carry the same penalties for violations. Emergency orders work both ways. If the escapement goal is met, they'll increase how many king salmon can be retained. As of March 3rd, 2023, an emergency order from the Alaska Department of Fish and Game closed Alaska King salmon fishing statewide until July 31st of 2023 and includes catch and release. Exceptions are king hatchery fish at Clutton Tail Race and Ship Creek. The difference between a wild salmon and a wild caught or hatchery salmon is that a hatchery kingfish are the same species. Hatcheries typically mark each hatchery raised fry by clipping the antipose fin, a small fin on the top of the fish of any young salmon born in captivity. Hazelton of 2022. This fin never grows back during the salmon's life, so the mark is permanent. Any fish with an intact antipose fin is likely to have hatched and grown without human intervention and grew in the wild. Part of the low return run of the king salmon is lack of prey and or quality of prey. The water around Alaska is colder. That is due to the ocean's climate patterns changing. Scientists are studying the ocean patterns in a metric called the Pacific Decadal Oscillation Index from 1980s to try to understand the changes to king salmon habitat in and around the Alaskan waters. Botello 2021. The PDO is changing. Colder water is moving in and pushing out the warmer water. As this occurs, the food source for Alaska king salmon is following the warmer water and leaving the area around Alaska. In the Bering Sea, scientists noticed the water was colder due to ice breaking up and floating around. With ice floating around more, it caused the temperatures to also go down. The food source in the Bering Sea also moved away. With the PDO change, king salmon lacked quality prey and prey itself. The environmental factor is not the only issue, salt water affecting king salmon, but people as well. Catch and release fishing in Alaska brings people from all over the world. However, catch and release king fishing is not needed. Ongoing research in catch and release is being done. When a person using a sports fishing license fishes for a king salmon, they use one hook with no barb and is unbaited with an artificial lure. The king salmon bites down on it. They fight it until the king salmon is exhausted and reel it in. Due to updated regulations, it is unlawful to pull a king salmon out of the water. The person or persons and guide will take pictures, measure the king salmon. After they fondle it, they release the king salmon back into the wild. The king salmon that was caught was harassed, touched, and eventually let go. The chances of the king salmon making it back to their spawning grounds and spawning are less. Catch and release king salmon is a hobby for some. The industry brings in a lot of money, and with the closure of king salmon, people will cancel their fishing trips with guides and deep sea fishing. We won't know the impact until late this year. However, there are different species of fish out there. In 2012, half the bookings canceled and businesses closed down for good and some went bankrupt. Carlton 2012. The question is, what is the future of king salmon? If we make more restrictions, the king salmon can come back. We will put hardships on people in industry, or keep meeting halfway and watch the king salmon run numbers go down because halfway is still not enough. Thank you.